Okay, we just finished Police Academy. That
Great.
one.
Trace.
What did you think?
Did I?
Well, I like the people that came back from the other movies, but it was like the perfect 80s movie plot, you know? You said it was like the standard school rivalry plot. It was like, oh no, a team of white, upstandish, all people who look the same, bad guys are trying to beat the quirky, downtrodden, multi-ethnic, multi-racial, multi-gendered people who do stuff, and obviously the plucky guys will come through in the end, but not after a lot of skullduggery and sabotage. Stop it! No, I'm being I'm being serious. Alright, what did you think, Smarty?
I think pretty much what I said last time, that you can tell that the big set pieces are where they're putting the money rather than the writing.
It was
very
spectacular.
We could have hired 15 writers at the price of all those jet skis and flying around and, you know, not actually having any humour, just sort of, we're going to go on a boat for a couple of weeks.
And someone fell down the stairs again, so there's always that.
And then suddenly we have villains. This one, it's like, the Police Academy films don't really set up bad guys. They have like, oh, here are our antagonists, but then like the actual villains of the films just turn up at the end with no context. Is suddenly, like at the end of the first one, now we're in, bang, Hauling from Northern Exposure turns up, steals guys' guns, and he's become the big villain. And this film, this is just, I'm guessing, Colin, before he met the 30-year-old younger than him, you know, blonde-haired woman, and settled down that he was a real
Hey,
hellraiser.
we're watching the credits. One of the songs was "Love Got Me Dancing on My Knees," as performed by Kid Creole and the Coconuts. So, you know.
In this one, I noticed the guy, the leader of the gang who just randomly appeared to try and kidnap the governor for some reason and then sort of go around in circles and around the arena. That seems to be Holling Vancouver from Northern Exposure again. So the guy just appears twice just as random criminals. Maybe the same guy? I don't know.
No. Going with, and the Blue Oyster did appear. Going with that, you know, surrealic, you know, touching the pocket realm kind of theory. Wouldn't that make him Satan?
Although I don't know.
He's unkillable. He shows up at the end to cause trouble, and nothing ever really happens to him.
Although the guy who got sent to the Blue Oyster Realm in this one wasn't really evil. He was just a sniveling little prick.
He's just a
Did the
stupid
Blue
person.
Oyster
Well, he
appear
had
in
a
the second
similar
one?
one.
What?
Did the Blue Oyster appear in the second one?
Yeah, it's in all of them.
Oh, it's not in all, it's not in 7, it's not in
Oh.
5.
Well, that's why I said.
Aw.
Could it be like the Blue Oyster, but in Russian?
Well, they could have, they really went to ram home the idea that the Blue Oyster is not actually a real place, it just constantly moves, then you could have had it turn up in 7 and 5 randomly, but they never went with that. Apparently we put more thought into this than they did.
So we should write like a whole thesis paper about, you know, the Blue Oyster.
So a guy's a prick, so they hire a prostitute to strip him naked and kick him outside. Then he ends up in this Blue Oyster Leather Club again. And all the gay men are like, blue, and then he like.
And he's in naked.
So he could have been in trouble for sexual, you know, for streaking. He could have been in trouble for public nudity,
Indecent exposure.
and then he could have theoretically been sexually assaulted. But it's okay because Mahoney's
No, he
just
would have
a
gotten in trouble
joker.
for all nice and stripping in a bar.
And then he could have been raped on top of that. So Mahoney is just—he's such a lovely little joker.
Well, no, he's
Okay,
He
was
met-
it Mahoney that was struck?
he
No,
met
he's the guy who made it happen.
So
he
metaphysically-
gets it all wrong.
he sent him to the Blue Oyster, and he was judged at the Blue Oyster. So we don't know what the judgment was.
He could.
Because he was not wicked, he was only a fool. He might have been turned back out again.
He might
Ah.
be put in a go-go cage.
But I've seen articles explaining how Zach Morris from Tib of the Bell is the world's greatest psychopath in like kids TV. I'd love to see someone do an article about the character of Mahoney because I really think that the guy is quite possibly, you know, at least sociopathic.
In the first movie, he didn't want to be a cop at all.
Yeah, he's just kind of a
In
douchebag.
this movie, he's like, I'm awesome,
He's like, I'm super cut, it's okay.
And I got curly hair.
and I'm incredibly misogynistic and treat women as objects. Yeah.
And like in the first one, when it was all like me sexually assaulted, sexually doing stuff to people, that was charming.
But it was the 80s, you guys. Sexual assault didn't really exist back then. This was all the rage.
Sexual assault has always existed.
No, I'm being facetious. It's like, cause like, you know how, you know, in the 80s it was like, oh, he only raped you, it's fine in movies.
And then this film, now this has been there
Brilliant.
in little bits since the first one, but it really started in the second. It became really noticeable in this one, where it went from character-based, ridiculous, childish comedy, like it was in the first one mostly. In this one, where where they've created almost like movie parodies that are just, where the characters get random superpowers, which really is where it goes further until it reaches its absolute zenith in the 7th film. But like in this one, you got like Tackleberry just suddenly appears from underneath the water. He's apparently been sitting there without any breathing gear underneath water just in case a baddie in a boat comes by, and he's changed his costume into Rambo and is having a massive rifle. And then you got like the bit where Jones, he is not only impersonating a badly dubbed martial arts movie, he leaps in the air for about 25 seconds in slow motion.
And he can make a jet ski just randomly sink and come back up like a sun.
Yeah, this is one of the things that bothers me about the later Police Academy films.
And Hightower is so tall he can stand at the bottom of the river and just hold a boat.
Well, no, that was a marina, so it's conceivable. Like they're not very deep right there.
Yeah, no, but the other guy was drowning right in front of him.
We don't know if it's
It's the turning the quirks into superpowers is one of the things that bothers me about the later Police Academy films. That and the lack of writing.
Well, this one had very little plot. It was just, our skill's good, our skill's bad.
Holy shit, this shenanigans at the marina.
Shenanigans, pranks.
You're forgetting the skullduggery. And like,
Bulk and skullduggery.
yeah, like so
What's
Mauser and his
skullduggery?
guy were kind of like Bulk and Skull of Police Academy.
It was Bulk 2 and Skull because Bulk 1 was Harris. Now I don't know.
No, he couldn't have been Bulk 1 because he had no counterpart.
Ah.
So only Mauser and Counterpart are Bulk and Skull for 2 and 3.
I know a little bit of the backstory of Police Academy. Like Mauser is
Still have the Dance of Exposition in my head.
is never seen again after Police Academy 3. The guy who played him was in a serious injury afterwards, and he was actually supposed to be in Police Academy 4, but he had to drop out, and he was replaced by Harris because they're pretty much the same character.
Is he doing okay, the actor?
I don't know if he's still alive or not.
Oh,
I think
sorry.
he is still alive though. I think the ones who are dead are Lassard, Tackleberry, and Hightower.
What did Tackleberry die of?
He died of a heart condition. He was the first major cast member to die.
What about Hightower?
He was quite large and old,
Oh.
so it's several. These
Just
were made
really-
these were made in the mid-80s.
I was alive in the mid-80s. Are you saying I'm going to die?
No, this was like 25 years ago.
Okay.
Tackleberry was like 50 something when he died.
Boy.
But the Harris, I'm not entirely sure, but I think that Harris was meant to be Mauser in Police Academy 2, but the actor didn't want to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But, whether they made a good call or a bad call with that, you can argue, but he decided to come back for 4, 5, 6, and 7. So.
Also, the guy that plays Harris looks like the guy who played Eugene Victor Toombs in season 1 of X-Files.
A little bit. Looks like
Yeah,
he could be like his uncle or something.
Yeah, and he was in also The Green Mile. He played little wormy bad guy in Green Mile.
Yeah, it could be like his uncle or something. But yeah, this one definitely not as bad as later ones. Definitely not as good as the first two. The first two had a thought in their head.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad film. It was just,
Less gay jokes.
it was cookie cutter.
It was like parts of it were just complete remakes of the first film.
It felt like that kind of. It felt like, machine just stamps things out of plastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that whole thing where the 80s had like 100 of the same film, just with different characters in slightly different settings.
Yeah.
It was just one of those.
Well, I mean, the 80s, speaking as someone who watched a whole bunch of movies in the 80s and then stopped, like that was the whole thing. It was all about, because like everyone called the 80s the me generation, it was about personal empowerment. Like, even, I guess you could kind of call these kid movies, if you don't mind seeing a bit of nudity and language and stuff like that, and swearing.
Well, there wasn't any nudity in this one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was
Let me just read
disappointed.
this.
The first one, first and second just had random nudity which didn't really fit, but then
Don't
this
worry,
one.
honey, you'll get to see a penis someday, I promise.
You've seen some of the reviews I've done.
I'm kidding.
This is the very room that we watched Twinklight and Gender Falator, and what else we watched with penises? Practically everything, really.
Oh, yeah.
Where Breckenridge didn't really have that type of nudity, did it?
No, it did so.
We watched
We
a lot
watched
of
the Emmanuel
I
films.
had a point
Yeah.
at one point. Yeah. Well, no, but it was the whole story arc. It was oh no.
And Schizophrenic, we watched that in here.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, Schizophrenic 1.
The whole point was kind of like, oh, you're different and unique and stuff, and you're not really like everybody else, but that's okay because you'll win in the end. It'll look like you'll fail, but you'll win in the end, and everything will be happy and lovely. It was not a very film noir kind of time, as I recall. Also, we had a whole bunch of interesting snacks in the 80s that you didn't have in your time because you're from.
We had nothing during the war. Nothing.
I know, because of Margaret Thatcher, and
Yeah.
then she outlawed fun and.
I was around during the 80s.
Yeah, I know, but you were over here, so like
It didn't
seems to me
exist
that, like,
during the
maybe
80s.
they were kind of like 10 years behind.
Aha, you didn't exist during the 80s.
It's okay.
But yeah, that's
I
what I have to
didn't
say.
resist during social repression.
But contrary to popular belief, we have not actually been drinking yet. This is all how we all know.
The effect of watching all the Who's Coming films back to back is a little bit like taking drugs. A little bit. This gets really, really apparent with 4 and 5.
Really?
A little bit.
I don't
Your
believe it.
mind sort of crumbles a little bit.
You're the liar.
You watch enough of them. Twilight did that.
Yeah,
What about
did
Twilight?
that.
We watched all 5 Twilight
I've
movies
seen the
about 6
second
months
Twilight,
ago
and I saw
in
it
a
in the
row.
theater. Thank you
Same
very
sort
much.
of deal.
So did I. I've seen every Twilight movie at least twice.
I don't like New Moon or the first one.
You shouldn't like any of them.
Well, we all went.
No, I don't mind the. Well, my favourite's the last one.
Well, you're a
Breaking Dawn
teenage
Part
girl,
2.
so you don't have an opinion.
But Breaking Dawn Part 2 is better than.
New Moon. New Moon.
No.
New
Well,
Moon
no,
shit.
no. Bless you. You want to know the best part of New Moon?
Shit.
There were 3 best times. One is the first shot is a full moon, and so me and Hannah and Tori and all of the bookstores that went were like, oh my god, is that it? Is that the new moon right there? And everyone shushed us. And the second cool part of New Moon was actually that one shot where it revolves around her, and we're like, wow. I thought to myself, that's a pretty cool effect. That's such a really cool single shot. And then
whenever she's moping in a room for
yeah,
10
and
minutes.
then you see that this. I said that's very cleverly done. I like that cinematography. And then Hannah leaned over to me and she goes, "Does that mean that she hasn't gotten up to change her clothes or go to the bathroom in like 90 days?" And I was like, "Oh, good point." But stop that. And the other good part of New Moon, I will say this, was the werewolf CGI was very good.
No.
Yes. No.
No, the only good thing in the
I
entire
liked it. I
Twilight
thought
saga
it
was Breaking Dawn Part 2 where everybody died.
Oh.
No, looking
That was an awesome twist.
looking at it from like a
No,
you know
it
a
wasn't.
cinematography.
It
It was all a
awesome
dream. It was
Yeah,
all a
it
dream.
was
It's
all a
never
dream,
an
but
awesome.
it wasn't in the
You're
book.
making this really hard for her. She's gonna have to edit all of your voice out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to do that. I don't give a shit.
But anyway, the werewolf CGI was good. So I described New Moon as 5 minutes of the best werewolf CGI I've ever seen, wrapped in a feminine hygiene commercial.
You know what? I wish I had a vagina. According to all these stupid adverts on TV, if I put a tampon in, I can go roller skating brilliantly, or I can dance.
That's
or-
they don't do that anymore. Now it's like, oh my gosh, look at my tampon. It looks like my mother's. No, look at mine. It's short and slim. It's got neon on it.
I don't want a tampon with neon on it.
Well, no, it's like it's black with the neon. Why am I describing tampon? Whatever.
That
New
would be
Moon.
like popping-
New Moon should have been a 10-minute side plot in Twilight or the third one.
Oh, another
It shouldn't exist. It shouldn't exist as a separate film. There's no need
There's a
for it.
separate book from them.
Don't
There's
care.
a short cycle life
It's
of Greek Hammer.
it has
Another
no
good part of
need.
I know, and it was shit.
Yeah, I have to admit it was shit.
Yeah, but
That's because she gave up on writing it halfway through. She's really pissed off that it was leaked and we all got it.
and she's Mormon too. But another good part of New Moon was
No,
every
it
time
was
someone
the big
elderly
song.
came on screen,
Blah, blah,
even
blah.
if they were just extra, they all went 3, 2, 1. He's so sexy! Oh, take it off! Oh yeah! We didn't get kicked out though.
I found that I have a movie which I'm giving to Omega, and I accidentally, without thinking this through, I accidentally described it as a Mormon Twilight.
But
Then I realized a second later how silly it was. But actually, it's based around Mormon mythology. So you got like this teenager who has a
I thought we
time
were talking about this camera.
who has a time romance with this ancient Jewish Native American, and because they meet via time warp, because that's part of Mormon mythology that the Native Americans were all Jews.
But let me just interject that ancient Jewish Native American so sounds like a Mel Brooks sketch, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay.
But yeah, please count on me.
Jacob, keep your shirt on. No!
We're not.
Oh.
My pecs.
We're not quite in the must kill yourself area yet. But you know the most amusing thing about please Twilight, they say that Jacob is so warm because he's got such a high internal body temperature, and that's why he's okay in the cold.
Yeah.
He's got a high body temperature on the inside. He's warm to the touch. He should feel very cold himself. He should need to wear lots of clothing.
Well,
That's how body temperature works.
Unless you spend a blood point. So.
Well,
Are you assuming that Jacob is cold-blooded?
Stephanie Mayer wanted to work that way, so.
no, I'm saying that Stephanie Meyer doesn't understand how how your body temperature works.
Of course not, she was the mum.
Are you being misogynistic?
She's a
17-year-old girl?
What?
Are you saying that all girls should stay in the kitchen?
No, I'm talking about
I like
Stephanie
you.
Meyer.
So you're saying that because Stephanie Meyer's a woman,
domestic
she should...
housewife.
Yeah, but the series got pretty dirty because I've only read 8 pages of the first book, but I've been told that when the baby's born, like, it all sorts of, like, claws its way out of her and shit. And she gets all tore up, and then the werewolf's like, don't worry,
Vampire C-section with the teeth.
don't worry, I'll just stop aging so I can marry your baby. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh
Horrifying.
yeah, that is.
that's like a whole collection of fetishes.
Yeah, that
all-
shouldn't have happened.
So, you see, now you two had not seen the match of the Police Academy as I had. So, which is your favorite character?
I don't know.
Do you have a character that you don't hate?
I like Hightower because he's awesome,
Ooh,
and
I love Hightower.
Jones because he can do the thing, he's talented. I like Hooks because she's funny. I don't really care for Melanie that much. Yeah.
What about you?
I like Hightower and Boobs McGee.
Oh, Callahan.
Yeah.
Callahan's awesome. You can go back into your theory because you find more evidence for this. But
Oh,
my
yeah.
favorite is Zed.
Why did I keep religion off?
If you guys have watched the first couple, my theory that Callahan is a non-op trans woman is getting more and more weight here because a Japanese guy falls in love with him in this one, and then after he falls in love with her, he's like, comes to Jones, is like, I have much confusion of my love for Callahan. It's like,
Oh no, it's like that bit in Guitar Wolf. There's no gender in rock and roll.
Rock and roll! Do it! Wild Zero is so fucking good.
I thought it was called Guitar Wolf. Or
No, that's
they-
the band.
Oh,
Is
right.
Bar will either be at home
And it's
or
so good.
Belfast.
No, have you seen Wild Zero?
Belfast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you got this band, Japanese punk band, Guitar Wolf, are playing themselves, and there's an alien invasion, and they're rising zombies and all.
And how are they stopped?
They're stopping the power of
Rock and roll!
And at the same time, you got this fan of Guitar Wolf falls in love with this Katui from Thailand, and then he's all like, "Oh no, she has a dick," and he runs off, panics. But then like, a vision of Guitar Wolf turns up and basically says,
He like calls him a coward and stuff like that.
"Yeah, there is no boundaries in love. There is no nationalities. There are no genders.
In rock and roll!
You must find her and do it!" And he's like, "Oh, I will save her," and they fall in love and everything. And Guitar Wolf kills an entire army of zombies with picks. It's
And
brilliant.
then there's like the zombie spaceship, and then he like holds up his guitar and he like pulls the katana out of it, and then the spaceship's like he bisects, he cleaves in twain the zombie alien spaceship with the katana from his guitar.
And it screams, "Rock and roll!"
why a katana from a guitar? Why not an axe that would complete the visual
Because he's
fun?
not Norwegian.
A guitar is an axe.
It's Japanese,
Japanese.
punk, not like Vikings.
See, the band didn't want to do this. They were
A cello was a sword.
They were contracted to do this. So what they did was they got this music video director from Japan who didn't want to make a movie either, and they had no script, and they spent most of the time drunk, and they did what they felt like,
It
and
is
it's
awesome.
awesome.
But Police Academy, you guys.
Yeah,
How many are there?
7.
7. So that's been our
I'm
time.
gonna make you watch this at some point.
It's like the backwards of the seasons of the next generation. 1 was best. We're slowly degrading.
No, 6 is good. 6 is, it comes back to 2 levels with 6. It's just a complete fluke. It's like, okay, worse.
Well, that's
Oh,
okay
right.
because season 2 of Next Generation was really good. It was like, shit, alright.
Shades of Grey.
Okay, you have a point.
I like the last season because there's a whole bunch of
I
really
haven't actually
sci-fi
read
battles.
Shades of Grey.
Shades of Grey is an episode of TNG, not the book.
Next Generation.
And 50 Shades of Grey
You're
is
too
a
young
really
for
bad introduction to BDSM and don't enjoy it.
And don't bite your lower lip
You
either.
should watch Boy Meets Girl or Preaching to the Perverted.
Yes, watch
Yeah,
Preaching to the
and
Bird.
if you
I'll
watch
link to
the
Blu-ray
Blu-ray,
I'm on it.
yeah, there are reviews on it. So anyway, we'll see you guys after number 4.
So I really should do some sort of a video, basically a little second on tape would take explaining the Preaching to the Perverted rewriting video thing. Maybe when we film again on Saturday. Well, no, not you, because you're not going. You're going to go, "Oh, I'm going to my sister's birthday party. I don't feel like going to take film where the dead going to die."
Yeah, I don't want to be in that.
Bye,
Bye.
folks.